Hello everybody, Storm here. Welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, Millennium Dawn, Honduras. In the last episode, we kind of bogged down in our war with Brazil. In fact, we were forced to retreat out of the pocket that we had over here. We've attempted, and a couple of attempts, we were able to successfully create another naval landing, but that's already bogging down. The big issue is that we are just losing enormous quantities of equipment, and I cannot produce them fast enough to make up. Right, we're losing like over 100 a day of both armored personnel carriers and infantry fighting vehicles. We're like 30,000 in deficit. So I mean, could I probably eventually pull this out? Maybe. But I thought about it. And I've decided that we are going to go ahead and roll back to just before this war. And I'm going to a plan B. We're gonna pursue a different plan and come back to Brazil later. Because what we need is a much larger stockpile of equipment, one. I need much larger resource reserves to be able to manufacture equipment much more rapidly. And I probably also need a few different types of actual combat divisions that are less reliant on hard-to-produce equipment. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to load a previous save, because I keep saves all the way through, and we're going to pursue a different option. That's a decision that I came to, so that's what we're going to do. So, just give me a second, and we're going to roll back. Okay, I decided to come back to this point. We do have the war goal, but I am going to go ahead and let it expire. We're just going to forget about it right now. And we are going to rethink our objectives here. What we need is we need resources. Specifically, we need the resources to manufacture armored personnel carriers and infantry fighting vehicles, which actually need massive amounts of upgrades anyway. We need 22,000 of each of them anyway. So couple of mutual investment treaties. Okay. So I kind of actually need to let that run for a while. Yeah, we only have one or two things running still. All right. So what we need to do is we need to find a nice target that will get us those resources. And what actually do we specifically need? I was interrupted while I was looking at this. We need tech metals. No, that's the wrong thing. We need steel. We still have tons of steel, so that's fine. We need tech metals. Okay. And we need light metals. Now, I know that Rwanda here, that owns all of what used to be Congo, should have lots and lots of tech metals. They do. And light metals. South Africa has a little bit. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to be in Africa, but it needs to be something that we can reach relatively easily. And is a relatively soft target. That I hope is a relatively soft target. We don't want to engage anybody that is in a faction. The thing is that Brazil is guaranteeing the independence of anybody in South America, so we really can't do that. What about the Pacific? Australia has some. Vietnam. We may need to start thinking about establishing a presence in the Pacific. $11, $14. Australia has no faction. Australia is guaranteeing the independence of Papua New Guinea. But nobody is currently guaranteeing Australia's independence. We don't really have a ton of intel here. They have 76 ships. We should be able to handle that. They have 1,300 planes at most. We don't know anything about their army. All right. That's an interesting direction we could potentially go. These are all precious metals and tech metals. Just make sure I'm not overlooking any options. The Republic of Africa? As other nations as subject states. Huh. That's a rather sizable entity there. Is an autonomous region of the Republic of Africa. So all these kind of orangey nations are all parts of the Republic of Africa. Huh. Alright, well, you know what we're still going to look at is... Do I still need to be... I don't think I still need to be rooting out resistance over here, do I? No. Alright. Let's send some agents to Australia. And let's start the process of establishing a back door in Australia. We're going to need a staging area, potentially. The Solomon Islands. Operate as a nice naval base. They're emerging outlook, so we won't be able to justify war on them. Okay then. Speaking of. Oh, what about New Zealand? Let's not forget about New Zealand. New Zealand does have some light metals as well. Maybe they would be the first target. Okay. Let's send some agents to New Zealand. Nobody's guaranteeing their independence. Excellent. What kind of intel do we have on them? We have no intel on their army. They have at most 11 ships. Alright. Let's send the spy satellites for an intelligence mission there. Molly wants to buy 40 F5E Tigers. Alright, go for it. Alright, that's increased our intel. They have 9 ships. They have somewhere between 14 and 22 divisions. Alright. I'm pretty sure I have the fleet to reach out there. Alright, let's start justifying. And nobody has immediately guaranteed them, so that's good. I'm not even sure that the nations that would can. Alright. This is going to be a long way to invade. Alright, since we're not doing this, we're going to cancel all of these missions for the Navy. Ooh, we don't have enough range to get out there. Okay, so we do need kind of a stepping stone somewhere to serve as a naval base. Kiribati. Okay, so hold on. Cancel the justification. Alright, instead, let's go there. Alright, we're going to have to run a lot of naval invasions. That's okay. Well, 3 naval invasions, specifically, is what we would need to do. Alright, so this fleet... Get on patrol. Strike force, not that I think we're going to need it. You are going to support naval invasions. There we go. What we're going to do is we're going to put the rest of the fleet back on exercises. Because I think we still have one... I think we still have one naval doctrine. No, 2. We have 2 naval doctrines that need to be unlocked. We have nowhere that's a supply issue, so that's not anything we need to worry about. Alright, we're going to fall back. We're going to fall back these troops. Alright, so that army group is falling back. And restaging themselves for operations in the Pacific. Improved solar farms are complete. Speaking of, what are we doing for power? We're perfectly fine for power. Excellent. Okay, this army is still being created. Alright, and the only air assets that we're going to have for this are the arsenal birds. Which should be fine. So let's move them over there. Yep, the only tech we're still working on are those future engines. Alright, now, the other thing that I need to do here is, let's get rid of this. is I need just a basic set of infantry divisions. Right? Because we have mechanized, armored, and... well, mechanized infantry, armored infantry, and just straight up heavy armor, or main battle tanks. Our super heavy armor is down here. Which I don't even know... are they fully fulfilled? Not completely. And in reality, they should only be using the super heavies. And they also need defined... light tanks. I'll think about that. Alright, so let's duplicate that. Alright, this is basic artillery. We need to bring this up to 30 width. So let's give them an FPV drone company. Let's give them... what don't they have? Self-propelled? They probably need a self-propelled air defense battery. Would be good. And then just... this is light infantry. And yeah, we are going to want to give them... yeah, this is just going to be a giant mass of infantry, is what this is going to be. And artillery. Combat width. Is anything here just one width? I seriously doubt it. It's 3. I mean, this is going to be really hard. Yeah, I need something with either width 1 or 2. Oh, well, we'll just go with 59. Good enough. Alright, and let's train out a whole army of those. Alright, let's duplicate these. Oh, we just got a whole bunch of stuff out. Oh, something about air defense. These have artillery batteries. What we're going to do is we're going to give them FPV drones instead. Motorized Marine. No, we're going to need to give these guys self-propelled artillery, I think. Yeah. There we go. And let's train out a whole army of those. All right. Alright, Navy's good. Alright, all these armies are in position, so let's go ahead and delete those fallback lines so I don't forget to do that. But I think my Marines are probably just going to be good enough by themselves to at least get these. Because, yeah, they have no divisions. They have no Air Force. They have no Navy. So they're defenseless. So this won't even really be a fight. 690 days. We have 150 Navy experience, so let's go ahead and do this. You know, we also need to work on the Marine doctrines. That would also help. Because our Marines are struggling to make landfall. So that's another thing we need to work on. This fleet of submarines is finished. These are all corvettes and cruisers. Alright, that should be enough to finish off the Naval Doctrine tree. So we now need to go down that route. What does this use? Army experience. Okay. I guess we'll go down this route. We do have some air assaults, so I'll go speed. Attack helicopter units. And improves our artillery. We'll go down this route. All right. And how much? Well, I'll find out here in a minute. We'll improve the small and medium business owner's opinion. I shouldn't have to worry about that. We'll just do the emerging outlook propaganda campaign. All right, but I think we'll go ahead and end the episode here. Justification will complete on the 26th of February. Ways to go. I wish there was the way to, like, reduce the length of these justifications, because, I mean, I could use console commands to do it. To just say, you know, get my justification done, but I don't particularly like doing that, but like the war justifications in Millennium Dawn are just ridiculously long in my opinion. But, you know, it is what it is, I guess. Okay, but we'll go ahead and stop here for now. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.